Hey yo guys, what is up? It is Lake here, coming at you with another video. Now today I'm going to be doing a video on a story today, because stories were pretty highly requested. So I decided to do a story video for this week's one of this week's videos. And today's story is going to be about my driver's test. Now this is going to be, I'm going to try to make it a longer story, tell more detail, just because of the whole only a couple videos a week thing. So I'm going to try to make this a pretty detailed video on my story about my driver's test, and mine was a little bit different than normal. You could say that. So first off, let's get into the whole thing. Well, let me tell you the end result anyway. I passed my driver's test. Obviously, this is a while ago. This was like at least 7 or 8 months ago, so it's been a long time since I've done this, and it was no big deal. It was just, at the time, it was pretty annoying. So I remember getting there. Okay, I left school a little early. I had mine right after school, so probably should have thought that there was gonna be buses everywhere. You know, I didn't really think about that, but it didn't end up mattering anyway. But I got into the DMV, which, if you guys know, the DMV is a place you don't want to be. It's a terrible place. I don't like the DMV. Nobody likes the DMV. It's pretty boring there. It's pretty boring. Once you the most exciting time you're gonna have there is passing your driver's test, and past that, it's not really gonna be exciting. Side note, if you're looking at the back here at my blinds, those are like, we have like these cool candle lights that I put in my windows, because like our whole house. But anyway, back to the story. I was sitting, I got to the DMV and I was getting ready to take my driver's test. I had it all scheduled. I was ready. I was pretty pumped, you know. I was ready. I drove there from school, and I was like, okay, I got this, and it was pretty heavy traffic at the time, because people were coming home early, or just earlier from work or such, you know. It's like 4 o'clock, so people were definitely coming home at that time. So I'm sitting there, and at our local DMV, there's like someone called like No Pass Patty or something. She's a lady, obviously, and you know, I'm sitting there in my chair, and all of a sudden I see it, and I automatically know I got her. And the reason they call her that is because she doesn't really pass that many people, and not because of just like, she's just like really strict on things. So, you know, a lot of people get a little nervous when they see her, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I can still pass this test. It's no big deal what teacher I got. So, you know, I say hi. Obviously, she's pretty cold, honestly. You know, those people don't want to be nice. You know, they're like, they don't, I mean, that's kind of their job. They can't just give you like a free pass because you know them or you're nice to them. You know, I mean, don't be mean to the DMV person, but they can't fail you because of that. So I digress. But anyway, so we're walking out. I got my car, I got my keys, bro. I'm ready. We're sitting there, and she starts talking, and I literally cannot understand what she's saying. She looks like she was like an Asian lady, and she must have just came recently. She knew her stuff was driving. It's just, she must have came recently, and she still had a like really heavy accent from, she obviously spoke, I'm assuming, Chinese or something before that, and she learned English, so you know, that's kind of cool. But it was really hard to understand her, and on top of this, I was already nervous. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh crap, you know, I can't even understand what she's saying. So if you guys haven't taken the driver's test, obviously the first part is you get in the car and you gotta start the car. So, you know, you gotta buckle first. Don't start the car before you buckle. They get all, you know, that's a whole thing. But I buckled, you know, I started the car. And then she asked me to do a couple things. You know, they gotta check the car over. I took my test in a new car, or newer car, at the time, so it wasn't really a big issue. But you know, you gotta do the blinkers, they gotta look on the back, the front, and she's yelling out to do all this stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't, like, I couldn't understand what she was saying, so I was already kind of nervous. We got through that took like a really long time, just because I could not understand what she was saying. And then we got in the car. So, you know, I was pretty nervous. You know, I already had the car started, and I backed up. You know, they tell you, it makes me nervous because they're sitting there like, reverse, and they tell you like, okay, go reverse, and then, you know, you do that stuff. And then I was out on the road, okay, and there was this one turn. There's 2 left turns in a row, and they're really close to each other, so I was like confused. and she kept telling me to turn left, and then I'm like, okay. So then I went into the turn lane for the first left, and she's like, no, the one up there. And I'm like, okay. So I finally got up there, and I was pretty nervous because I could not understand a single thing she was saying the whole entire time, which did not make it very easy to, pass my driver's test, which was kind of annoying. So eventually we got to there. We're going through this neighborhood, and all of a sudden this kid like runs out. Like, he was playing basketball, his ball just like flies out in the middle of the road. So like, I'm like, okay. So I stopped, let the kid get his ball, go back. I start driving again, and of course at that stop there's a school bus that was dropping kids off, so I had to wait again. So this was like the longest driver's test ever, because like it already feels like a really long time, but then on top of that, like you gotta wait for all these things, and you're nervous, and it's terrible. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And then we turned to the one part where it's like a Y turn, I think it's called. I don't even remember. Honestly, a few months after you take your driver's test, you probably couldn't take the driver's test again. It's just kind of, you forget a lot of stuff. You don't do stuff. You do stuff how it makes sense, not by the book. So, but I was doing the Y turn. Okay. So, obviously, you turn left. So you turn left in the road. And if you don't know what a Y turn is, in the first place, if you're on a street, like a straight street, and you want to turn around, you know how you can like turn the car, back up, turn the car, and then eventually go. So we're doing that. So I turn the car, I pull forward, and then I stop. So that was good. Put in reverse, backed up, turn the wheel, and I was almost ready to go forward. I completely forgot to put in, drive. Like, completely forgot to put in drive. And I let my foot off the brake a little bit, and I felt the car go back a bit. And I hit the brake, and I like put it into drive. And I could tell she noticed. Like, I was hoping she wouldn't notice, because it was pretty subtle. It wasn't anything, huge. But I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, like, what's up, like, and I could see she was writing down on her paper, like, oh, he did that wrong, and I'm like, I honestly thought that was like an automatic failure right there. Like, I thought that was pretty bad. Now, one thing that was helpful about my driver's test is I knew the route before I even took it. There was only one route for our DMV, and I just practiced, like, I found the route online, and I just kept doing it, like, all the time. So I knew where all like the parts where they're gonna tell us to do. And at one point it was like parking up a hill where you gotta turn the wheel some way or something. I don't know. I still don't know it. I just kind of took a guess, and I must have got it right. You gotta turn the wheel. I think you turn it towards the curb, so then if you like, I don't know, your transmission gives out, or your parking brake or something gives out somehow, like, you'll roll like into the curb. I think, yeah, that's how that works. You'd roll into the curb and not into traffic. So like, I did it that way. So now that I think about it, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But I was just kind of guessing at the time. I was kind of caught up in other things, and I'm sitting there, and I did it. She didn't write anything down, or she did write something down, but it wasn't too much. So I'm assuming it was pretty good. So I drove away. We got back to the DMV. I was pretty nervous because we parked, and she just got out of the car. She didn't even like say anything. She just got out of the car. She walked in the DMV. So I walked in the DMV, and then I obviously got to see, like, my mom was there with me, so we went there. I saw her. She the lady that tested me like walked into the back for something, so I'm like, okay, well, did I pass or not? And she comes out. I did pass. It was pretty close because of the backup thing. That was pretty stupid, but things happen. She came out. She's like, yeah, you passed, and you did this, and this. I still couldn't understand what she was saying at this point. I was pretty much guessing what she was saying the whole entire time, just because she wasn't making very much sense. And I get she's like trying to get a job and stuff, but like, man, kids are already nervous, and they can't even understand their drivers, like their not test taker, examiner. I don't know. But like, it was pretty stressful, but I passed. Just sitting here thinking about it just gives me a little bit of a little anxiety just thinking about it. But I was pumped that I passed, and everything ended up working out in the end. I did actually have a way better picture on my actual driver's license than my temps. On my temps, I didn't know they're like, oh, sign down there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I just scribbled because I didn't know it was actually going on my driver's card, and it went on my driver's, or my temps at least. You know, I didn't scribble for my actual card because I knew what it was doing now. But that was pretty funny. But anyway, guys, that's kind of my story about my driver's test. Pretty crazy story if you think about it. You know, it was pretty nerve-wracking at the time. You know, I was, you know, I don't know. I made it through. So if there's any motivation to any of you guys that are actually going out taking your driver's test, or you're watching this video before you take it or something, I don't know, just relax. It, you know, if you end up failing, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but if you end up failing, I mean, honestly, just schedule your test. I think you have to wait like a week or two and just do it again. You know, it's not like it's the absolute end of the world, you know. If you fail the first time, honestly, I know some of the people that have failed their test multiple times. Like, I know someone that failed their test like 3 times, and they're like an actual better driver than the people that, like, I know a kid that passed with like 2 points, so he was like almost perfect. He got in an accident like 2 weeks after he got his car, so, you know. And then I know a kid that had to take his test like 3 times in a row, and you know, he's been fine. You know, he's done good. He's a good driver, you know, and he learned from his mistakes. For the other kid that just squeaked through, you know, he didn't really learn much. So there's my motivation, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, like, subscribe, and let me know if you want to see any other stories or whatever videos you want to see on Wednesday. Video ideas are always welcome, just because, you know, it's pretty hard to think of video ideas, but I had this one thought up. You know, it's pretty easy now because now I can think of videos. I got like 3 days to think of a video, and yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, like, subscribe. I will see you next video, guys. Peace out.